Robby Anderson has come out and said that he wants the chance to play with Tom Brady. Now, there is stories coming out, and I've said this over and over again, that Robby Anderson wanted to be traded to the Oakland Raiders at the trade deadline last year. Now it's the Las Vegas Raiders,
who are strangely in rumors for Tom Brady.
And I've said this over and over again. I believe Tom Brady will be a Vegas Raider. In the next week, we're going to know where Tom Brady is going. And I wouldn't be so surprised if he goes to Vegas. I also believe that Robby Anderson wants to go to Vegas. He wants to go play for his hometown. I guess that's where he's from. Is he from?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure he grew up a Raiders fan. But who is Robby Anderson? What has Robby Anderson done with the New York Jets?
No, he's from New Jersey.
What did Robby Anderson do with the New York Jets? Are you going to talk about the 5 years he's been in New York Jets? He's had 3 good seasons. He never broke 1,000 yards. The most yards he's ever had was 939. When you think of Robby Anderson, you don't think of a star number 1 wide receiver.
Right.
You don't.
And you think of...
You don't even think of him as a 2. I think of him as a 3.
As a 3, yeah. Right.
And he wants number 1 money.
And you look at what you just said, the 939 yards. How many of those 939 yards were in 2 games? That's how he always is. He has 2 flashy games, and then he's gone silent.
And I don't hate Robby Anderson. I don't. And I'm a Jet fan, so I do not hate Robby Anderson. But what bothers me about Robby Anderson is the fact that this guy has nothing good to say about the Jets organization or the money that he hasn't made. But what has he done on and off the field? He's gotten in trouble off the field, not once, not twice, but 3 times. On the field, the guy's throwing his helmet around, acting like a jackass. Every time he gets a touchdown, he's dancing around, doing stupid things, giving the fans these weird gestures on the Jets sidelines. I mean, this guy has been nothing but a joke for the New York Jets organization. Is he talented? Yeah, he's a speedy guy that can catch the ball. He also has pot hands.
Right, and he also is not a great route runner for somebody of his speed. He can run straight streaks, he can run slants, and everything else is kind of questionable with him. And he wants number 1 wide receiver money. He wants double digits per year. Yeah, the Raiders might do it because they've been like
they're
that
a bunch
in
of
the
idiots.
past.
That's
and,
why.
Right,
they're a bunch of idiots.
They've been like that in the past and take chances on these kinds of guys with off-field issues all the time. But now John Gruden's there. You would hope he's not that stupid if you're a Raiders fan.
And you have to be worried about the Vegas Raiders. I almost called them the Vegas Knights because it doesn't make sense. The Vegas Raiders, change the name, call them something else, because they're not the Oakland Raiders. They're not.
The way they operate free agency, they're the Vegas Gamblers. So just call them that
idiots.
at that point.
The Vegas idiots.
For the most part, yeah.
And I think they had a sensational season last year. I think John Gruden showed that he can still coach in this league and still have these guys play under him. And this is a guy that's been out of football as a head coach for almost 7 years. He was out of football for a long time. And a lot of people said that the game has passed him by. It didn't pass him by. He's turned players that nobody is want into stars. He has changed the outlook of what the Raiders. They're no longer a laughingstock organization. They're an organization that will compete in the AFC next year. If they add Tom Brady, they could be even better.
They need some pieces on that defense, though, too.
They need pieces on their offense, too. They don't have any weapons. They really don't. Is Robby Anderson a weapon that I'm going to be so ecstatic as an Oakland Raider fan or a Las Vegas Raider fan? I would not be ecstatic.
I mean, if he's your 3rd receiver, okay.
He's not going to be the 3rd receiver.
No, he wants to get paid like a 1 for whatever reason.
And he's going to get 1 money. And the Raiders are going to give him 1 money. They're going to.
That'll be laughable when that happens.
Why? Because, hey, listen, there are players right now. AJ Green is going to get probably $40 million this offseason as a 31-year-old.
Over how many years? 3 or 4?
4 years.
4 years? Okay. Well, that's reasonable for him. That's fine.
Or maybe even 3 years. Depends on what if AJ Green thinks that he's still a star wide receiver, quite possibly thinks that he is. He's been out practically a year and a half because of injury. But if he still thinks he has the speed and the game hasn't passed him by, people are going to give him whatever he wants.
Right.
It's AJ Green.
But Robby Anderson wants more than that, and he can't sniff AJ Green for his best in his career.
AJ Green is a Hall of Famer.
He could be. He very much could be. That's my point.
Not very much could be. He is a Hall of Famer.
Regardless, that's my point. Robby Anderson's nowhere close.
Well, but again, Robby Anderson's also 24, 25 years old. He's still a young wide receiver. I'm sorry, 26 years old. He's still a young wide receiver. And maybe his best years are up ahead of him. Who knows?
Would hope, but...
And maybe going with Tom Brady to the Raiders is going to make him a better player. I doubt it, because nobody can say that Robby Anderson didn't have his chances this year to catch the ball. I could tell you that he dropped the ball about 30 or 40 times. with passes that were practically in his hands.
Right. And the other thing, too, is his biggest strength is, at this point, Tom Brady's biggest weakness. Tom Brady, even in his prime, was never a guy that loved to throw the ball deep either. Robby Anderson's strength is just streaking down the field and catching the ball deep with his speed. And that's really it. That doesn't really suit what Tom Brady is at this point. Tom Brady's a smart quarterback. He'll read the defense, but he's kind of a middle of the field, outside part of the field kind of quarterback at this point. He doesn't have the same arm that he used to, and even his arm in his prime wasn't a big arm.
It does bother me as a Jet fan knowing that Robby Anderson is talking right now, and the free agency hasn't even opened up. How do we know the Jets aren't interested in giving him a long-term deal? We don't know that. Now, if I was Joe Douglas right now, I'd tell him to go. I'd tell him to go sit on it. We don't need you.
Right.
I'll bring in A.J. Green, who's 3-4 times better than you even hurt, and he'll catch the ball every single time Sam Darnold throws the ball to him.
Right.
Because he's got better hands. We all know that when you watch Robby Anderson has had pot hands since the day he's come into this league. He can run a 4.3 and a 40. That's fine and grand. But if you can't catch the ball, what's the point of running?
Right. So the Jets' offseason plan should be they should target A.J. Green. If they get A.J. Green, okay, you get A.J. Green. He'll be the number one receiver if he's healthy. And then you draft somebody either the third round or the second round. You have 2 third-round picks because you got one from the Giants. You could draft something with this receiving depth, and then you got Crowder as your slot guy. So that all of a sudden, it's not great, but it looks a little better to what they have rather than giving so much money to Robby Anderson.
How about this? You draft a wide receiver at number 11. That's what I would do.
You would do that over an offensive lineman?
Absolutely, because if I can bring in Conklin, and I've been hearing
That's
rumors.
fair. Okay.
I've been hearing rumors that Conklin is a guy on the Jets' radar, and also Williams from the Redskins on a trade. Mm-hmm. And the Jets have an extra third-round draft pick that is available. And to me, when you think of the Jets as a whole organization, they need to take away all this garbage that they've brought in over the years, the Mike McCagnon garbage that he brought in. Now it's time for the Jets to bring in real football players, real offensive linemen that could protect this kid, because this kid is not protected. This kid is practically running for dear life every single time he touches that ball. All right, we have a second call of the day. You guys know him as Jeff. I know him as Jeff from Tampa. What's going on, Jeff?
I love it. I love it tonight. It's Robby Anderson talks about Robby Anderson. This is great.
Well, I'm glad you love it.
Unbelievable.
Well,
you always can't write stuff like this. It's just genius.
Well, Speedy brought up the story, and I have to talk about this because it's a joke. And by the way, he wants to play with your guy, Tom Brady.
I mean, who wouldn't want to play with him?
Well, who would right now? I mean, Tom Brady. You don't even know where Tom Brady is going. You don't know if he's going to the Patriots, the Vegas.
He's going only one of 2 places.
Where is it?
Tennessee or New England.
You think so? I've been hearing a lot of talks. The 49ers and Vegas are in the hunt for him, and they're going to offer him a lot of money. They're going to offer him a lot of money.
They're not going to offer him a lot of money because they'll have to figure out a way to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, because there's zero chance they're going to put a $90 million quarterback on the bench.
No question. And I do believe
the guy.
I do believe Jimmy Garoppolo is on the trade market. I believe it because there are stories coming out that he is on the trade block. So if that's the case, it quite possibly could happen, Jeff, that Tom Brady can go to the 49ers.
I mean, I got to be honest, though. I really don't see a place where I don't see a team trading for Jimmy Garoppolo.
I do. The Patriots.
The Patriots get him back.
All the teams that need quarterback, I think are going to be drafting him. I don't think Cincinnati would be interested in Jimmy Garoppolo. They're going to take Joe Burrow, right?
Yep.
I don't see Miami doing it. They're either going to draft Tua or Justin Herbert or something. I don't see them wanting to. I see them wanting to. It would be cheaper for them as well to draft a quarterback rather than just acquire one for a lot of money, right? It would be cheaper for them just to draft one and try to develop them. I don't see teams trading for them.
You know what's so funny is there is a team out there.
Maybe Tennessee would do it if they missed on Brady. That would maybe be a spot. But then what would San Francisco do?
Well, they shed some salary today with Tennessee. They cut Cameron Wake and they cut Deion Lewis, who were both bad contracts for them. So maybe they're trying to make room for something like that.
And one of them are actually a Patriot.
Right, but they cut Deion Lewis because they're going to sign Derrick Henry to big money, though.
Yep.
Well, yeah, obviously, but they're also making room to maybe bring in a big quarterback too. Obviously, they don't bring back Tannehill.
And Jeff, you know this, and I said this over and over again. I believe this. I've been saying this from day one that Tom Brady was more than likely going to go to Tennessee before any of those teams. But I'm going to take that away now because I've been hearing more and more over and over again and reading stories that it's the Vegas Raiders, the team that's going to offer him the most money.
He's going to Vegas.
I agree.
I disagree with you.
There's a 0% chance he's going to Vegas because there's a 0% chance he wants to play Patrick Mahomes twice a year. If Brady wants to win Super Bowls, he wants to be competitive. What's the path of least resistance for him? That's either in the AFC South or in the AFC East. There's 0 chance he wants to compete twice a year with Patrick Mahomes.
I think Tom Brady likes the competition, and I think Tom Brady understands how to beat Patrick Mahomes. Go look at his record against Patrick Mahomes. It's a pretty good record against Patrick Mahomes. So,
right, but that was with the Chiefs' defense that was bad. Now the Chiefs' defense is a little better.
how do we know what the Chiefs' defense is going to be this year?
Okay, well, here's the counter to that, Speedy. That record was when the Patriots' defense was bad, and now the Patriots' defense is good.
Okay, so, but again, they still... Again, the Chiefs, the way they've grown this year, it's not the same defense that it was 2 years ago when it was awful and they were giving up all those big plays in the playoffs and collapsing the way they did, too.
Very true, but the Patriots were winning Super Bowls when they had the 29th ranked defense, and now they have the number 1 ranked defense.
Fair enough, but again, they're going to lose some players, and they also weren't as good in the second half of the season, though.
What, the Chiefs aren't going to lose players?
They're franchising tagging Jones, for what I know. I didn't hear they were losing anybody else for the time being. Both their corners were just signed. Honey Badger was just signed, and Frank Clark was signed to a new contract when they traded for him.
Right, but here's what you're also ignoring, by the way. You talk about Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick took a guy that was serving chicken at Popeyes and turned him into one of the highest paid cornerbacks in the league, in Malcolm Butler.
Oh, I'm not doubting Belichick's ability to do that. I'm just saying there's no guarantees the number 1 defense.
Buddy, it doesn't matter who they go and get. Like, they're going to be able to replace whoever is in that defense.
Oh, they replenish well. But again, will they do it for a number 1 defense again is another question.
Oh, I'm sorry. They'll slip all the way down to 10.
10 might not work against Patrick Mahomes. Look at the 49ers.
I don't think Tom Brady's going back to the Patriots. I really don't. Everything that I've heard and I've read, and they're so far away from an agreement of money. I believe Tom Brady wants to get paid his last 2 years.
I don't think money is the issue with him.
What do you think it is?
I really do. I think it's where he has the best shot at winning. So it would be, where does he have best receivers and, and running backs? And right now that probably is in Tennessee. Like that probably is, but I think if the Patriots were to make some upgrades, if they were able to acquire a Stephon Diggs or an O.J. Howard at tight end or something like that, I think that would sway him back to the Patriots.
Speaking of that, that was another rumor too. Tampa wants to give him a lot of money now too.
Who?
The Buccaneers. Brady.
Wants to give Brady?
Brady, yeah.
That's not going to happen.
That would have the best receivers among any team. They just need an offensive line, though.
Right, but again, that's part of the equation, right? Like you got to have things like that. Brady's not going to want to go. He's kind of a statue back there. He moves well within the pocket, but he can't elude rushers. So you need an offensive line. That's going to factor into it.
Right. Plus, like you said earlier, the NFC South is you want to go somewhere to win. The NFC South has been a good division for a while.
And not to knock anything in Tampa because I live here, but here's the other thing that I think is that people are overlooking. Bruce Arians quits everywhere because he has health issues, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't exactly have a good track record at head coach. What's to say Bruce Arians has some sort of health crisis? God forbid something were to happen with his health, and he's got to quit. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a very unstable franchise. That's not exactly something Brady likes either.
Well, this is the best coach they've brought in a long time, though, so think about it. Bruce Arians is a very good coach.
Well, you blow Bruce Arians up all the time. He's a great coach. He's had 5 fabulous seasons when you talk about Arizona and Indianapolis. No question that he did. But besides that, he was an offensive coordinator his whole career. And he has a very little amount of time as a head coach in the and the NFL. So you can't compare Bruce Arians to a Bill Belichick.
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that.
But you make it seem like he's Bill Belichick.
No. He's not Bill Belichick, but he's the best coach that anyone's going to go to, maybe besides Gruden if he goes to the Raiders. But even Arians has had more recent success than that because Gruden, like you said, Gruden hasn't coached in a while.
Mike Vrabel is a good coach.
I don't think he's better than Arians right now.